Hello and welcome to Reason News with me, Alicia. Today we're diving into a developing story that's shaking up the region, South Africa's response to the post-election violence in Mozambique. We are taking a look into a major development in the ongoing legal saga of President-elect Donald Trump. A powerful earthquake struck the South Pacific island nation of Vanuatu on Sunday, triggering a tsunami warning. Selena Gomez gets engaged to record producer Benny Blanco, while there's a legal battle brewing over Adele's hit song Million Years Ago. And lastly, we give you an update in the world of sport. South Africa has announced its intention to engage with Mozambique over the ongoing post-election violence that has gripped the nation since October. Let's break down what we know so far. Since the October 9th elections, Mozambique has been rocked by protests and violence. The ruling Frelimo Party's candidate Daniel Chapo was declared the winner with 70% of the vote, but opposition leader Venancio Modlane, who secured 20%, has challenged the results. Tragically, the death toll has been rising. Human rights organizations report at least 73 people have been killed, with many more injured.
Mozambique is on tenterhooks as the Constitutional Council is yet to validate the election results. The council is expected to make an announcement on December 23rd. Maputo and other cities have experienced violent protests, and in some instances law enforcement agencies were accused of using excessive force. South Africa says it's very concerned.
It is a situation that needs engagement, mediation, to continue to call for calm, to allow the electoral process, the Constitutional Council of Mozambique, to make a determination.
Opposition leaders say the people's will must be respected.
The situation is quite volatile now because the elections were not considered free, transparent and credible, and not even fair. Both the African Union, the SADC, the European Union, the Commonwealth observers, all of them mentioned that these elections were not free and fair.
Meanwhile, the Border Management Authority is keeping a close eye in one of the key ports of entry at Libombo between South Africa and Mozambique.
This weekend, from Friday 13 December to Sunday 15 December 2024, 52,252 travelers were processed at Libombo Port of Entry, a clear indication of the increased activity as South Africa enters its peak travel period. The BMA remains vigilant and fully equipped to maintain this level of efficiency while continuing to monitor operations closely.
International Relations and Cooperation Minister Ronald Lamola has taken a diplomatic approach. He's called for calm and restraint, urging all parties to allow the electoral process to conclude and give Mozambique's constitutional court time to address the concerns. South Africa isn't just concerned about Mozambique. There are wider regional implications at play. The country has already closed its main border with Mozambique due to safety concerns. As a key member of the Southern African Development Community, which is SADC, South Africa is playing a crucial role. As this situation develops, we'll be keeping a close eye on how South Africa's engagement unfolds. Now, moving abroad, a New York judge has just ruled against Trump's bid to throw out his conviction in the high-profile hush money case. Judge Yohan Merchan rejected Trump's request to dismiss the conviction based on presidential immunity. The judge determined that the evidence in the case related entirely to unofficial conduct and doesn't intrude on executive branch authority. In May, Trump was found guilty on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. These charges stem from a $130,000 payment made to adult film actress Stormy Daniels during the 2016 presidential campaign. Trump's legal team cited a recent Supreme Court ruling on presidential immunity, arguing that some evidence presented at trial was now inadmissible. However, Judge Merchan disagreed, stating the case involved personal, not official acts.
First of all, that the majority of the evidence shown at trial, you said that all of the evidence shown at trial related to unofficial acts, even the stuff that happened when Trump was president. And this has been long a contention of prosecutors and has been the subject of other court decisions to other courts, saying essentially that the scheme to cover up a hush money payment couldn't possibly be construed as the official act of a president, but a personal matter. And he said that even the evidence that was challenged by Trump's attorneys, he backed up the prosecutor's contention that it was a small, what the prosecutors described as a sliver of the mountain of evidence, which the judge said overwhelmingly pointed towards Trump's guilt in the case. They can appeal this decision and are likely to, and they separately have said that they will appeal the conviction if they need to. They aren't yet able to until the sentencing is dealt with in some way. And so that's what's outstanding here. There's another motion to dismiss the case that the judge hasn't ruled on. And that motion essentially says you have to dismiss the case and throw out the conviction because Trump was elected president and he has constitutional responsibilities that this will weigh down on. And the judge has to make a ruling on that motion and then decide if he's going to sentence Trump before inauguration, if he's going to push off sentencing and other proceedings until after Trump's term in office, potentially 2029, or take some other route in order for this case to be taken care of, or follow what the Trump's team says and toss it out altogether.
While this ruling blocks one potential avenue for Trump, his legal team has raised other arguments for dismissal. The future of the case, including potential sentencing, remains unclear as Trump prepares to take office on January 20th. This decision could have significant implications, potentially making Trump the first president to enter the White House with a felony conviction pending his appeal. What do you think about this ruling and its potential impact? Let us know in the comments below. Now, a powerful earthquake struck the South Pacific island nation of Vanuatu on Sunday, triggering a tsunami warning and sending panicked residents fleeing to higher ground. The earthquake, which had a magnitude of 7.0, struck off the coast of the island of Espiritu Santo, the largest in Vanuatu. The earthquake was felt throughout Vanuatu, as well as in neighboring islands including New Caledonia and Fiji. The Pacific Tsunami Warning Center issued a tsunami warning for Vanuatu, New Caledonia and Fiji, but it was later lifted. The death toll from an earthquake that struck Vanuatu on Tuesday has risen to 14, as search teams claw through piles of rubble in an attempt to locate survivors. 200 others are being treated for injuries.
It was a violent earthquake, the worst that I've ever seen in 21 years living here in Vanuatu. We get earthquakes on a regular basis, frequently higher than 6, but none of us, nobody that I've spoken to here has experienced anything like it in their lives. So it was very close to the capital, so that 7.3, I think we felt every bit of it. Some of the older buildings in town were severely damaged. Some of them collapsed entirely. Damage was not as widespread as you might see in other countries that don't build to such an exacting standard as we do here. So that's a relief to many of us. However, I went to the hospital shortly after the initial shock and talked to police there. They confirmed one fatality. I spoke to police later on. They said there were multiple fatalities, but they would not give me a number. It's clear from what we've seen at the triage center outside that they set up outdoors outside of the emergency ward, that there are dozens of people who have been injured, some severely, some not so much. We don't have a good assessment of the extent of the human toll right now. It appears that a great deal of our basic infrastructure has been damaged. We've got issues with the main roadway through the center of town, the road connecting us to the airport. And I've heard unconfirmed reports that the airport runway itself may be damaged. If that happens, it may hinder the disaster response significantly.
Vanuatu is located in the Pacific Ring of Fire, a zone of frequent earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. The country is also prone to tsunamis, and in 2015, a powerful earthquake triggered a tsunami that killed 11 people. Vanuatu police say a 7-day state of emergency has been declared to limit the movement of public while search and relief operations are underway. An estimated 116,000 people could be affected by the worst impacts of the quake. The UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs said the international community has pledged to help Vanuatu recover from the earthquake. Australia has already sent a team of disaster relief experts to the country, and New Zealand has also offered assistance. Singer and actress Selena Gomez is engaged to record producer Benny Blanco, according to multiple sources. The couple has been dating for about a year and a half, and they have been spotted together on numerous occasions. Gomez, 28, is one of the most popular singers in the world. She has released 3 solo albums, all of which have been certified platinum or higher by the Recording Industry Association of America.
Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco are engaged. The pop star confirmed the news on Instagram, sharing an image of her ring and writing, "Forever begins now." In one sweet photo, he holds her and she grins, showing off the sparkler. And Benny commented, "Hey, wait, that's my wife." Benny and Selena have so much love for each other. He spoke with Access in May when he called her his other half.
You've had major collaborations with Selena. You were friends and collaborators first. What led you to each other? How did you first meet? I'm very curious about this.
In real life, we actually met. Neither one of us even knew. Apparently, we had a meeting when we were both so young, and neither one of us remembered.
Don't you remember it?
She was like...
There's like a photo of it somewhere.
Her mom, the first time I ever went out to dinner with her mother, she told me, she was like, we had a meeting one time, and I was like, we did? And then she was like, yeah, and she still remembered exactly where it was, and I was like, wow. And we worked on a bunch of stuff, and then, you know, it's just like everything else in my life. I had no idea, and then one day I woke up, and I was like, whoa, this is the girl I love, she's right next to me, and like, you know what I mean? Like,
is that how it happened?
Yeah, like I'm saying, you start dating, everything just moves like quickly, and it's just like, you know, we've been friends for a long time. And she's just great. She's the greatest.
She is one of the sweetest people. I've had the pleasure of interviewing her a number of times.
Yeah,
she is incredibly sweet. I am curious though, is there, and I've had this opportunity to ask other people who have worked together and then moved into other ways of relating to one another, you know, in a relationship. What was there a moment? Was there a thing or like a situation you remember you looked and you were like, uh-oh, this is different for me than it was before. I feel differently than I did before. This isn't a friend feeling, this is more.
I can't remember, it just happened so like she's a very real person. So we just like, literally one day we were hanging out and then I was like, oh wow, I think this is a date. And then it was just like,
seriously?
That was just kind of how it happened. And then we just like, and then we've kind of been inseparable ever since.
I love it.
Yeah, she's the best. She's the best.
Easier to work with in the kitchen or in the studio?
We're the same person. Like, it's just, she's my...
Meanwhile, a Brazilian judge has dropped a bombshell ordering the removal of Adele's "Million Years Ago" from all platforms worldwide. This drastic move comes in response to a plagiarism claim by Brazilian composer Toninho Gueroes. Gueroes alleges that Adele's 2015 hit bears a striking resemblance to his 1995 song Mulheres. He's seeking not just royalties, but also a hefty sum in damages and official songwriting credit.
A Brazilian judge recently made headlines with a significant ruling concerning Adele's 2015 hit song Million Years Ago, ordering the track to be removed from streaming services worldwide. This dramatic decision stems from a plagiarism lawsuit filed by Brazilian composer Toninho Gueroes, who alleges that Adele's song borrows heavily from his samba classic Mulheres, Women, originally recorded by the famous Brazilian singer Martinho da Vila in 1995. The legal dispute centers on a claim that the two songs share striking similarities in their melodies, which Gueroes argues were copied without permission. According to the lawsuit, an expert analysis of the two tracks highlights an undeniable symmetry, suggesting that Million Years Ago may have been plagiarized. This claim has been taken seriously by Brazilian authorities, culminating in an injunction issued by Judge Victor Torres of Rio de Janeiro's 6th Commercial Court on December 13, 2024. The ruling threatens to impose heavy financial penalties on the Brazilian subsidiaries of Sony and Universal, Adele's record labels, if they fail to comply with the decision. At the heart of this case is the protection of Brazilian music and intellectual property.
This injunction, while preliminary, has sent shockwaves through the music industry. Sony Music Entertainment and Universal Music, Adele's labels, are now under immense pressure to comply. The judge has even threatened them with a significant fine for every instance of non-compliance. This case raises important questions about intellectual property and the global reach of copyright law. It also highlights the increasing interconnectedness of the music industry, where influences can transcend borders. Now in the world of sport, India's off-spinning great Ravichandran Ashwin announced his immediate retirement from international cricket following the third test against Australia in Brisbane on Wednesday. Real Madrid attacker Vinicius Jr. won the FIFA Best Men's Player of the Year award at a ceremony in Doha on Tuesday, while Barcelona midfielder Aitana Bonmati picked the women's prize for the second time. Nigeria forward Ademola Lookman was named 2024 African Men's Player of the Year at a ceremony in Marrakesh on Monday, while Zambia's Barbara Banda picked the women's award. New Zealand tore through England's batting on Tuesday to crush the visitors by 423 runs in the third test and send Tim Southee into retirement on a triumphant note. Now, we've covered a lot today. We saw South Africa taking a diplomatic approach to the post-election violence in Mozambique, to a celebrity power couple getting engaged. As always, we'll continue to monitor these developing situations and bring you the latest updates. Thank you for joining us on Reason News. Stay informed, stay engaged, and we'll see you the next time.